Right, welcome back, welcome back, guys. It's half-term week here in England, so I thought we would do a little bit of fun for kids. And we have a couple of crafts this week. One is a Disney one that is going to be done later on in the week, probably Saturday, and this one, which is, well, going to be for younger kids. And I'm going to start with using scissors. So this first bit is going to be is going to need help from the adults. So what we're going to do is section up a couple of parts of our rock, just to make the next bit a little bit easier. So we're going to mark off our door. Now these little houses I'm making here, they can be turned into anything. The colours could be turned into little fairy houses, or we could make nice grey, green, and make them into little troll homes. We can just make them into little villages. We can make them as detailed as we want by making little ivy grow up the edge of them, or we could leave them as simplistic as this and just have little homes that are really perfect for young kids to do. You can paint them with paints like I'm doing. You can use general acrylic paints for kids. Use the Picasso pens that you've seen me use before. Posca pens, sorry. Or general acrylic paint pens. Or you could simply use things like Sharpies. It is a very wide and open craft. I do say that if you're going to use Sharpies and want to use it for hiding, it doesn't take, they do fade a lot easier in the sun. And they don't take to varnish as well, and can bleed easier when being varnished. So if you're wanting to put them in your own garden to keep or use them as hiding rocks, then if you are going to varnish them, well, basic rock varnish yacht varnish that you can get from Home Bargains in England or B&M Bargains, it's absolutely fine. But please do make sure that the paint you're using is one that won't bleed, which any acrylics are fine. Just be careful. So, just checking this wire does not go around because it's falling again and seems to want to go do that. So let's just, so I'm going to stick with the pink. So I'm going to paint all the way across here, and that may have got underneath that, but we'll be fine. And we're going to cover the rock in whatever colour we want the base of our little house to be. So as I said, I picked pink, which is a very light fairy house style vibe, but there is no set rule to the colour you would pick. My little boy loves blue, his favourite colour, but he's also attached very much to things looking real as part of his autism, so it could go either way. So we have a little pink house there. And I'm going to go over to what I made earlier. There we go. Just because I'm sure you kids simply just do not wish to watch me waiting for paint to dry. And once it has started to dry enough to peel this off, we're going to try and pull it without tearing any of the paint. So kids, you may want to ask your adults to do that. Now this tape, by the way, is frog tape, which is one of the best to stop bleeding. But as you see, I've still got a bit because rock isn't, however flat it isn't always the flat, completely perfectly flat surface. So sometimes it does just manage to find its way through. it also can tear, which means you'll get bits that will be determined to stay stuck to the paper regardless. So just be careful. I see a little bit there as you do it. And try and convince it to stay stuck to the rock. But if it decides it's not going to, then as that piece has decided, there isn't much you can do about it except for repaint it on afterwards. There's a couple of pieces there that just are not playing, and that's fine. So we have our window, one window and two window, and these ones have decided not to go off very straight at all, probably because I'm deciding this is the time to do a demonstration. So we're just going to neaten the lines up anyway, and you'll see at the end why, however neat they decide to be, it isn't the end of the world anyway. Because, well, if it's a fairy house, it's magic seeping out. And if it's a troll house, you can have little cracks anyway. So we make do. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do here is paint our windows, because we're going to be needing to draw on top of them. So kids, whatever tool your parents are giving you to work with, be it a pen or a paintbrush, we're going to paint in these squares. Now, as I've already said, they don't have to be perfect. It could be magic, it could be a crack, the windows could have a cracked glass. It really does not matter. This is where it's fun. We're just going to paint the squares in, and you go from there. There's one window, nicely painted. And as I said to you guys watching anywhere but England, it's half term over here, which means the kids are on holiday for a week for what's known as spring bank. We have our holidays split a bit differently, so we have a 7-week summer holidays, I believe, at the moment, and then they will go back after this 1 week until, well, they go back after 1 week until the summer, and then they have their 7 weeks for the summer. And we have these half terms in between every major holiday. So I have kiddo at home this week, and he will be having a whole load of fun things that he'll be wanting to do all week, which is why I'm filming these in advance, because I know as a parent how useful little things are to find. So you see I've dropped some water on that because I didn't let my brush dry quickly enough. So I've gone for green because, well, it's a fairy house, and green is the colour of Tinkerbell. This shade of green is the colour of Tinkerbell's from Wet Wings. So I'm going for colours that go really cool in a fairy house. Now, any of you out there that are building a cool troll house, you could go for red. Really, really, really cool blood red. Now, or you could go for a really deep green, because trolls, if you're going for like trolls like in Frozen, they come from the earth. So it could be like a moss green that's growing on the house. Or you could make these like little hobbit homes, and they would be really cool with a grassy green. And your house could still be a really cool stone colour then. And you could have make your door a little bit more rounded, like that, just to fit in with the idea of a hobbit home. So whichever fits you. If I was painting it for me, probably be into the hobbit home realm. So we're going to give the roof this nice lovely blue. And all the way over the top. And again, we can do whatever colour roof you want. This colour is because it's my kiddo's favourite colour, and if I didn't have it somewhere on it, I would pay the price for doing a video for kids, the first one for kids on this channel, without having my kid's favourite colour somewhere on it. Because in the future, at some point, with him being at the age where he's discovering YouTube, he would find this, and then I would hear all about it, and hear all about not mentioning, or mentioning his favourite colour, but not using it. So I'm covering my own back here, kids, because you kids like to be so lovely to us adults with things like this. So there we go. As my goddaughter so lovely said to me, adults these days, you just don't get it. So there we go. Now we're going to use some yellow curtains on the here. Now, if you were going to do a Hobbit home, what colour curtains would you have? Would you have curtains? What do you think? Or if you're going to have a lovely, lovely kind of troll home that was going to be, you know, all tough, curtains wouldn't really fit, would they? So maybe you could have bars. You could draw bars like 1, 2, 3 in your window, and like black. No one's coming into my little rock home. Or you could build a little cell in one window, and the other window you could put little wooden shutters. So you could have 1, 2, and then you could put 1, 2 line, 1, 2 lines, and you could do them in brown, and that would be very old-fashioned Wild West saloon style effect. Also very cool. Now I'm going to get some pink, pale pink, whatever colour your main house is. If you find a lighter version of it. Now, if you haven't got one, if you just add white to your older version if you're using paints. But if you're not, it doesn't matter. Just find a colour that goes well with it. I'm sure the adults will be able to tell you. And if you don't want them to tell you, use a colour you like. We're going to make some bricks. Now I'm going to use a brush that is really thin, flat brush. That allows me to do it really easily. Watch this. 1 line, 2 line. 1 line, 2 line. So if you've got any brushes like this, you can just do that. And if you haven't, you're just going to draw 2 little rectangles and colour them in. Whichever way you're going to do it, we're going to do exactly the same with our blue. You see, I haven't put a paler blue on this time, so I'm going to show you. We're going to mix a lighter one. But on this one, show you the difference, I used a darker one. So if you haven't got anything lighter, or you wish to go with a different way of doing it, you can do. So we're going to go 1 line, 2 line, and again, and again. Now, that's if you're making a lovely little cottage. What do you think? And it's a lovely little fairy cottage style idea. And I could then add little flowers up the side if I wished. So I could go draw a little flower like that, put them all on the bottom. Or I could draw ivy, so I would draw a little line. I'd draw little ivies up the side of my house. Or if I wanted that door to look like it was on its hinges, on the battlements, I could draw little chains coming from the top, from here to here and here to here, and it would look like it was hanging off its battlements. Very cool for a troll home. So now we're going to go around the edge of these. We've got a general black fineliner. I picked one that will deal with the fact that my paint's wet very easily and not get us upset by it, as some do. You have time, kids, to wait for your paint to dry. So listen to your adults telling you the answer of when you're allowed to paint on top, because otherwise you're just going to ruin your work and it doesn't work as well. So we're going to go across. And since I'm making nice little cottage windows, I'm going to make a very nice little cross across, which is very traditional British cottage, and looks really nice if you're making little fairy cottages. So all the way up and down, And this is why you wait. Look, on the long term, that will cause damage to the nibs. So I'm going to do the same around the door. Now, if you're going to go for a old-fashioned saloon, or if you're going to be building a troll door, you might want to do other things to your doors, like give it some wooden panels, which you do in 3 lines. As I said, you could also build your chains coming up from the top. I've given it the house number 7 because 7's a really cool lucky number. And then just giving it a door handle. You could write things like humans not welcome or stay out on a little sign. And we draw signs simply by drawing, going up, up and across. And that adds a little bit to it. And I'm going to go all the way across there. And if you've been really cheeky, you can write my sister isn't welcome. But only if your mum tells you you're allowed to. And all the way across here. Oh, my brother isn't welcome, just by the way, before I get shouted at for saying one or the other. There we go. So there is a little troll house, or a little fairy house, or a little cottage. Whatever you want to turn it into with a touch of magic. Another one over here with a different colour roof, as you can see. So it's a little I hope you like them. I hope you have a bit of fun trying to make them and trying to make different colours, different styles, add different effects to them. Stay safe and well, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.